Hello, it's Kindo, and today we're back with another Tuesday tutorial, this time the throat bass. So, it's one technique, but there's obviously a couple ways you can do it. There's like open mouth, like wah wah wah, all those, and then there's the, and I'll even teach the, because the is kind of part of the, so here we go. But hope you guys enjoy this tutorial. This one's going to be a little tricky for me to explain, just a heads up. It's going to be a little bit of a longer tutorial because I'm going to try to explain this one as best as I can. The one tip I do want to start out with, though, before I get into it, this is a developing sound. So what I mean is there's some sounds like you can get, like clicks. You can kind of listen to someone explain it or hear someone do it and then, oh, I got it, right? Throat bass isn't like you can just hear it and you're just like, oh, like, it doesn't happen. It's going to take a lot of time. Like my throat bass did not always sound like this. It takes a lot of time to develop, okay? So just a heads up, I wanted to give that warning before we get into the tutorial, before you guys try to learn throat bass. It's not something you're gonna just like, I figured it out. Like, to develop it and get a really nice tone, to be able to change the pitch and do variations and mess with it, it's gonna take you a while and you gotta develop and work on this one. So just a heads up. But anyways, let's get into it. So the best way I could describe this one would be, imagine you're sick. And when you're sick, like if this is how I talk, right? I wouldn't be like, hey guys, like that's not how I would talk. If I was sick, I'd feel kind of raspy in my chest. I might be coughing. I might be a little sick. And you get that little bit of tightness in your throat, right? That's the same thing you want for throat bass. Like you want it kind of tight in your throat and a little raspy. And if you can get this, try to hum. So try to do a hum with that. And like, like you're sick. You can hear the difference, right? Instead of whatever note it is, like but yeah, so try to imagine. I know that's a really bad way to explain it, but that's the best way I could explain to start off your throat bass is imagine you're sick. Like imagine having that raspy tone, and to get that, you're really just kind of like, not super tightening, but you're just like slightly tightening your throat and it gets a little raspy like this. See what I'm saying? How it's like a different bit of a change? So that's the first step, okay? If you can get that hum, so instead of you can get push that as hard as you can. And it is not going to come out like this. It is not going to just I've been doing it for a really long time. You're going to cough. And if you cough, you're actually doing a good job. So just a heads up. This one is going to it's going to hurt your throat. If your throat burns, if it makes you cough, any of that, that's throat bass development. Like I said, it's a developing sound. It's going to take time to develop. We all talk like this our whole lives. When we were babies, we never cried. We never were like, wah! Like we never have throat bassed our whole lives. The whole time we talk like this, we never ever talk like this. Like we've never throat bassed. So, like I said, when you first learn this, it's gonna feel uncomfortable. It's gonna make you cough a lot. Just a heads up. So, you gotta push through that hum. Whatever note, like I said, whatever note you add, just push more air. So if your air, like imagine when you're humming, your air is this. When you hit that throat bass, the air has to go from to. That's literally what I'm doing. I'm going. Like you really have to push on this one. Like I said, it's still going to make you cough. I've been doing it for years. It still dries out my throat here and there. So it's a developing sound. But that is your throat bass. That is the best way I could describe how to get it. Just practice getting that raspiness. And then push through it. Now some tips I have for this one for sure. Let's say you figure out throat bass. You start a little bit, right? And you're starting to get it. If you want to start getting all the, dubsteppy stuff, all that stuff, you're literally just saying like what it sounds like wah 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 wah, wah 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 wah, wah 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 wah, or the one that kind of Reaps does, the yo yo yo. All you're doing is tucking your lip in, like the cherry scratch. If you guys remember that thing, tuck your lip in again, and now throat bass. and kind of you're going air, like air, 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 air. You can also do like DAWs with that, like do 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 do. You can do DAWs without the lip, like da na 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 na. And then if you take the first step, another little tip for you guys, if you take that first step, remember the pre-hum thing I was talking about? Like if you're sick, the before you push it, you can alternate between both of those, and that's how you get like the one beat I have, the go with the flow, like the it's so just mess around with it, see what you guys can do. Like I said, don't get frustrated if you've been working on this. If you just start this now and 2 weeks later you're frustrated, don't be. It's really gonna take a long time. I'm talking, I was beatboxing 2-ish years in, thinking I had a throat bass, and then over time I could hear it develop more and more. Now I'm like 6 years into beatboxing and I really have it more developed, and I can still hear tones of it and like certain overtones when I hit them and I practice. Like I can still hear stuff I still need to practice on. So it's a big sound. It's a big developing sound. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I hope this helped, and I will see you guys for the next tutorial.